He's like a half person.
I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points?
I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this sword.
Greetings. Happy Monday to you all. Hope you had a great weekend. As far as me personally, lost some money on Saturday. It was a fun day, though. I don't know if you guys were paying attention. I took Pitt money line at plus 450, and Pitt was winning with a few minutes to go. And obviously, they actually didn't even end up covering the plus 10.5 because Louisville, I think they finished the game in the last 2 minutes on a 12-0 run. But Pitt was winning with a couple minutes left on a plus 450 money line. Just ton of fun watching that game. So I had a lot of fun Saturday, even though I lost some money. Yesterday, great day. The picks I actually placed bets on and posted went 3-1. My top 2 bets went 2-0. So you'll take that. And today, I only have 2 bets open that I like a lot. That's the good news. I have 2 bets I really like today. The bad news, the lines are so nuked and long gone that I don't even know if me telling you I like these bets even gives you any good information right now. Exhibit A, first game, Golden State on the road in Charlotte. Love this bet. Bad news, I have over 222.5 last night. It is now at 228, even 228.5 on some books. If you're asking me what my pick is at current price, I'd still say over. I mean, I had this one at 229.5, I think it was, when I did went through it. The reason I like the over, obviously I like it a lot better at the 222.5, but the reason that I like the over here, I'll show you 1 second. Number one, Charlotte has turned the pace up as of late. They're 7th in pace in the last 5 games. So if you use any larger sample size, it might look like Charlotte's not really running. They actually have been running. So last handful of games, we're seeing Charlotte turn the pace up a bit. Golden State, it looks like their pace is slowing down recently, which I would assume was the explanation for the opening line being so low. But if you actually take a closer look at their game logs, look at the teams Golden State has played and their pace. It's Orlando, Charlotte, who is speeding up, Dallas, Sacramento, Houston, all teams that in the last 10 games are on the bottom 11 in the NBA in pace. So Charlotte team that's speeding it up, a Golden State team that we might be getting a little bit of a buy low spot in terms of their pace. And yeah, I mean, the line movement is pretty self-explanatory here. I think we're going to see a fast-paced game. So yeah, I got the over 6 points lower than it is now. I guess I would probably still take it here, but if I was to bet it now, it would be a super small bet. The line's gone. As far as the side, I think all pass point to Golden State winning comfortably, but I wouldn't lay this big number. So just the over for me.
Unreal amount of Lindy love in the comments right now.
Lindy love?
What?
A lot of Lindy love in the comments right now.
Wow. Lindy love. That feels so nice. Oh. You know, where are these comments? I must find this here on my old iPad.
There are a lot of Lindy love.
Lindy's cheeks right now. That's not love. Lindy hits. Lindy, I'm here for. Lindy is cheeks right now. I mean, Lindy is never cheeks.
Lindy's cheeks right now? Lindy's never cheeks.
I've been deadlifting. I don't know if you're interested. I got them cheeks. They're coming in nice and perky.
What are your thoughts on my over?
Guy. Oh, I'm on the under. So I also got no CLV, under 224.5 and 224 when I recorded yesterday. And then whoop, up to 228 out of the middle of nowhere. I'm seeing what you're seeing, but I will raise you defensive metrics and what we're getting here on the well, also, what's the incentive that Charlotte has to go out and let LaMelo Ball play 36 minutes ever again? I'm going to say it's pretty low. I mean, we're talking, there's actually a generational player in Cooper Flagg who can step onto an NBA floor and help every single team in the NBA right now playing 22 minutes a game. So there's like no reason that you wouldn't want to go get Cooper Flagg. And I mean, Philly, we'll get to them. I think that there's a lot of kerfuffery going on with them, but I do think that there's a world where we see harsh limitations to Mark Williams. Bridges, it feels like it's just not going to exist for whatever stupid reason. Mark Williams, I think limitations just with his health and obviously what we got and figured out from the Los Angeles kickback that went back and forth for Mark Williams. But I just go individual players and individual pace metrics, and everything had me. I mean, I've got this like 107 here on the Charlotte side, 116 for them. So 223 when I reran it this morning with everybody back in. Again, 224.5. I wouldn't have made the play if I had, simulated it out that way earlier, but we did have the risk of, somebody getting ruled out of the clouds for Charlotte like we've had all the time. So I kind of had their minutes a little bit scaled down from where it was, earlier. So now that it's scaled back up, I still think 228 under is a good play, but I found something from a prop perspective I really like. LaMelo Ball, over 6.5 assists, plus 115 at BetMGM. I think if you even just put him in at a 30-minute barometer with Mark Williams and Bridges on the floor this season, you're going to see over, where is it at? It just disappeared on my sheet. Great. 7.8 potential. So no, 7.8 assists. 7.8 assists, sharing the floor with those two, and a primary amount of those minutes are going to be them together. Golden State middle of the road in terms of assists allowed, despite being a very good defensive team, and having Mark Williams at the 10, having Miles Bridges available to him. I think this is a pretty low number. I know the spread's getting up there to a spot where you got to be worried about the minutes, but I'm already scaling down the minutes, and I like this play.
All right, so it looks like we're head-to-head on this first one, on a weird one where the lines moved half dozen points. Chris?
Yep, I suck.
Golden State, Charlotte.
As far as the side goes, I want to take the points with Charlotte just because they just lost by 40 to this team. I know that they've been terrible, like historically terrible. That 3-game losing streak that they had was the biggest in NBA history over the course of 3 games. I think it was like a combined 141 points. But now they're back home. They did lose to the Wizards the other day, but that was their first game back home after, I think, 9 straight road games. So you got, Steph and Seth and Papa Curry all together. I just kind of feel like Charlotte gets a little revenge, not win the game, but I think they can keep it close if, like you said, Lindy, the minutes are there for LaMelo, and I'm not sure if they're going to be there. And that's one of the things that kind of kept me off. The Warriors also got the Knicks tomorrow at Madison Square Garden, TNT game. So potential look-ahead spot there, especially after just winning by 40. I want to take Charlotte plus the points. As far as the total goes, didn't bet it, but I'm leaning a little more with Lindy. Even though they play fast, Kyle, like you said, the pace has gone up. I got them at 8th in pace over the last 5 games. Charlotte's still the worst offensive rated team in the NBA. It's not even close. 92.2 offensive rating over the last 10 games, last 5 games. And these totals that's above 225, Charlotte's 7-2 to the under as a road dog, as a double-digit home dog, with double-digit in-season revenge. They're 4-0 to the under, 8-3 to the under as a home dog coming off a home loss, 7-1 to the under as a home dog with a total of 225 or higher. So it's a lot of things to kind of make me look a little bit more towards the under than the over, but I couldn't quite get there. I didn't feel confident enough betting either. So I'm on the sideline for both.
Next up. Okay, this is a weird one. I don't have a bet in this game. It's super short to look at Portland, but at the same time, how could you possibly look at Philly here? I mean, the Sixers look so bad, and the Hornets. Part of me wants to just throw out all the data we have for Portland over the course of this season because they've been playing so much better as of late. I mean, in the last 10 games, this is a top 10 defensive team. They're actually first in defensive efficiency in the last 5 games. Yes, they've played a questionable schedule, but what part of Philadelphia isn't questionable? They're so bad.
There's a joke there.
Yeah, you saw what I did there, right? So, I mean, based on, if we just want to use the last 10 games as a sample size, we're dealing with a significantly better team catching points against a trash team. So you could put Portland up for me. I'm a little worried. I feel like the entire world's going to be taking Portland. If you're looking to take Portland and looking to be pushed over the edge here, check this out. Portland against bad teams, extremely profitable. Portland against bottom 10 defenses, 10-3 against the spread. Portland against bottom 5 offenses. Oh, I'm sorry, that's bottom 5 defenses. Portland against bottom 5 offenses, 6-1 against the spread. Portland against, this is the big one, bad 3-point defense. And we know the Sixers have struggled to defend the 3-point line all year. Portland against bottom 5 3-point defenses, 7-3 against the spread. Portland's been really good against bad teams, very profitable. Philadelphia is a bad team. It's a bad city. It's a bad group of people. So it would only be Portland for me here. I couldn't actually get there. It's super short number, and it is Portland. Is there any reason to take Philadelphia here, guys?
Well, I did it, and I'm an idiot. So this is probably, I don't know, the most important part about finding people that you trust. And hopefully, you can listen to my analysis and know that I'm not just making stuff up on the spot. But part of the deal is, for me, just admitting when you made a mistake. And I made a huge mistake yesterday, putting a play. I have Philly minus 3.5. I think recognizing when you make a mistake and why you made it is very important. For me, I strictly modeled this game. I simply had it for minutes for, I straddle the minutes for questionable tags. So Paul George playing around 18 minutes, usually end up on like the upper end of it just to kind of get an idea of where that line is sitting and potentially have it like being able to pounce on it. But I even said to myself last night, there's a chance we get random Q tags for Philly the rest of the year. For people who don't know, there's a top 6 protected that Oklahoma City has of Phillies. Philly needs to get a top 6 pick in order to keep their pick in a generational draft. And it is a big deal when you get to the tanking that has incentives like this to tank and increase your chances. And I just saw it coming. Kelly Oubre, questionable with an illness. I mean, we're just talking some of this garbage stuff that is going to pop up with some of these teams. So if you're not risk tolerant, don't place spreads for some of these teams that are going to go out of their way to tank. And that was the mistake that I made, and I apologize. I'm probably going to talk about it on my video here today. Not something that I'm proud of because I generally am ahead of the curve on stuff like this, but a lot of negative CLV on the old bankroll today. Not what I like to do for people. So I apologize for that one. It's only a point, but it feels icky because I knew that this was something that was easily avoidable just by doing my due diligence and not just relying on the math. So I apologize for it. Sometimes I will make mistakes too. I'll make a lot more of them, but hopefully over any long-term sample size, I learn from them and can do better.
If it makes you feel any better, first impression of this game when I looked last night, I had it modeled out at Philly minus 7.8. So I was with you. I see how you arrived there because when I first looked at it, I was like, ooh, no one's going to want to bet Philly here. This might be a sneaky, sharp spot to take Philly as a favorite. And then when I took a deeper dive, I was like, oh, my God, I can't do it. But I initially thought the same thing. So I almost made the same mistake, if it makes you feel any better. Chris?
Kind of.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, Kyle. It's Portland or nothing here. I didn't bet it. I wish I could have got a +4. I can't model this game to get to Philly at all. This team has laid points 14 times. They've covered one of those spreads. They're 4-9 with rest, with more rest than their opponent. And Portland, we talked about this the other week, Kyle, I think maybe 2 weeks ago. Portland 7-0-1 against the spread with less rest than their opponent. 7-1 if they're playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. And they've been more profitable as a road dog than Philly has been as a home favorite, 14-12-1. What does Portland like to do? They like to attack the rim. Philly defense is not great, of course, without the only thing that Joel Embiid did do was protect the rim a little bit. And then now you got Paul George, like Lindy just said, you got Paul George on the injury report with Kelly Oubre. I was thinking that Denny Avdia might not play because he was questionable for the game yesterday, but if he's in, I kind of like Portland. I'll probably just play the money line just to get some plus money and make it a smaller play today. But I do think that they can win this game. All of the advanced metrics, like you said, Kyle, just point to Portland. I want nothing to do with Philly. And like Lindy said, they could potentially take this game too.
Someone asked if they're blocked from the chat. No, you must. Sometimes if you type like a curse word in, YouTube will block it. Can you block that guy Sosis though? I don't know what he's doing here.
I mean, yeah, I can.
Yeah, I don't really.
He's a positive.
I don't mind people talking shit. Sometimes it's fun, but he's just like repeating the same thing over and over again. Very strange people out there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Washington, Miami. Got an under at 221.5 last night, so I'm holding a few points of value. This is not your grandfather's Washington Wizards team, and maybe grandfather isn't the proper. This is not last year's Wizards team. How about that? This is not the Wizards team from October or November. They're not running this super fast pace. Now, this isn't a slow pace team, but the Wizards are not running 106 possessions a night anymore like we saw from them most of last year, like we saw from them a few months ago. This is a pretty moderate tempo team right now. It's a team that struggles to score, and I know unders with Miami right now are a little questionable because actually the Heat offense has been better than the defense. It's just not what we're used to seeing from Miami. But on the Miami side, yes, the offense has been a little better than the defense as of late. One thing you can hang your hat on here with the Heat is a slow-ass pace. A snail pace. Since February 1st, they've had one game go over 100 possessions, and it was against the Bulls, a team that's like pretty much playing NBA Jam, just turbo the whole time, sprinting the entire game. If you take out the Bulls game, Miami hasn't hit 100 possessions at all. Pretty sure if you take out the Bulls game, they've hit it once since the new year. So this one thing we can count on is Miami's going to play a slow-paced game. Like I said, Wizards have not been speeding the pace up as of late. Yeah, I think it stays under. Like I said, got a few points of value here. If you're asking if I would play it now at the current, maybe a little bit. I obviously like the 221.5 better. It actually opened up at 223.5, so I didn't even get the best value. Someone who acted quicker could have got a better number than me. But yeah, I still think this is a good bet under. If you're going to try to place it now, I'd say go a little lighter, but I had it at like 214, so that's how I feel. Lindy?
Chris, can you go first? Because I have an issue trying to find these numbers on.
Yeah. Take your time. So as far as the total goes, Kyle, I'm with you. Like I think it's an under. I didn't bet it because I lost so much value. I saw this open at 223.5, and I went to go like do something else, and like came back and it was like 221, and I was like, well, already lost 2 points. I'm not messing with it. Woke up this morning and saw 219 and was like, damn, I guess I should have played it. And a lot of it is what you said, Kyle. Don't look down. But the Washington Wizards are third best defensive rated team over the last 5 games. And now you take away Jordan Poole, you bring in, you give some extra minutes to Marcus Smart out there playing point guard. And the Wizards have been so bad this season that they can actually afford to, be competitive in some of these games and not just roll over like they have been doing for the full season. So I definitely like the undercount. What I ended up playing was, and I didn't get the best of the number, but I took the Wizards, man. First time I think all season. I took the plus 8.5 with the Wizards. I understand that Washington, is a team that likes to get out in transition. Philly, Miami is a team that really slows that down a lot. I'm just worried about Miami's offense. A couple of guys already got ruled out. I did see a couple of guys pop up on the injury report. Khalil Ware not being there scares me a little bit for what they've been able to do at the rim recently. So yeah, I think Washington continues to cover. They 7-3, I think, against the number in the last 10. With Miami coming off the loss last night to, I know they didn't have to travel, but coming off their loss to the Knicks and going to overtime last night, I feel like it's a tad bit too many points. Wish I could have got a 12 or 11.5, whatever it was, but I played it at 8.5 when Khalil Ware got rolled out. I think they can keep it within 4 possessions.
Lindy, did you find your notes?
No, can't find anything that I was looking for. Anyway, you want to get way, way, way crazy today. I think one way to do it is potentially like Bam Adebayo. This used to be my favorite play, like a couple of years ago. Bam Adebayo, when you would get Jimmy Butler ruled out and his assist rate would just skyrocket to the moon. We're talking like 100-1 potential, like triple-double type stuff. But I am probably going to end up staying away here. I thought I had something for Tyler Hero at 35-1. I can't find it right now. Triple-double, which is why it's kind of annoying because that was popping up on my sheet. Best I'm currently seeing is 22-1. That is a drastically different play. So I think overall just going to be a bypass of this game for me.
All right. Next. What's next? Atlanta, Memphis. How do you begin to even put a cap on a game where are the stops coming from? We're talking about a total
under.
over. You're going to take the under here?
Sure am. I already did. 253.5. I took the under.
I mean, you got the best of the number, right? It's down to 251.
Yes. Well, it was down and then it was up and then it was down and then it's up. It's kind of like, well, we're not going to go there.
All right, let's hear it. You're on the under. It's Hawks Grizzlies. It's going to be fast paced, but you got a very big number.
Yeah, it's a gigantic number. It really comes down to like what you think about Memphis, and this has been a recurring thing on my show. Some people just want to point out every single time that Memphis under, because I've probably bet almost every single Memphis under for the last however long. Sometimes I go into the team total market on them. Sometimes I specifically am just saying, hey, maybe I get the news to break my way in a certain direction. And Friday was nice. Ended up getting a cash there. Stayed away on the weekend. That felt good. That felt sharp. And now we walk into a spot against the Hawks. And I don't really agree that Memphis is sustainable at this kind of a pace. You're eventually going to have to slow it down at some point in time, these 151, 148 Phoenix overtime type games, I mean, we're talking like unsustainably good shooting. And Luke Kennard in relief of Ja Morant in some of these spots has been just revelatory. We got Desmond Bane sitting out yesterday, so he's coming into this one fresh. I mean, obviously, there were just some choices that they made yesterday that, now they're going to be ready to rock to some capacity. But you get Santi Aldama questionable, kind of takes some of the small ball off the table where you can go to him alongside Jaren Jackson Jr. I think you might be looking at like a Zach Edey smash spot against Atlanta and Okongwu. His minutes have been a lot more secure than what you would expect for Zach Edey. He's played 26, 24, 20, 25 the last 4. That's a lot of court time for a guy who was getting ripped off the floor for defensive purposes in the pick and roll early on in the season. He's starting to figure it out. And now you get a Okongwu who's kind of an undersized center, I would say, relative to what you would have in like a Clint Capella out there. He's playing the massive majority of those minutes there, 35, 32 here in some of his recent game logs. I think there's just going to be some slower pace games that Memphis has to take into consideration. And Atlanta, they got worse shooting the basketball. DeAndre Hunter getting shipped off to Cleveland. I know you get Karis LeVert out there, somebody who can score, but does he stretch the floor in the same way? I mean, he's shooting 38.7% from 3 this season. It's going pretty darn well. We've seen him offensively take on more of the lion's share load, 15, 17, 23 his last 3 in the old sheet. But like every single time I run Memphis games, I just fall in love with unders. I've got this one way under, and yet just kind of, realizing that there's something that I am not getting when it comes to Memphis games, because they've had unsustainably good shooting for about 2 months. It had to come to an end at some point in time. And we're getting some big totals as a result.
Oh,
it's awful.
I will start by saying I understand why you took the under, and I can't say I disagree. I will say there's a lot of really concerning patterns that support an over. But
I don't know. Maybe Memphis and Atlanta being 1 and 2 in pace in the NBA is a problem. I mean, I can play devil's advocate on it. I'm trying to make the case for why I like it, which is, trying to explain the math. And the math just does the math thing. And I've got it at 245. So I don't know what to do.
You could put up Memphis for me. There's no chance I'm betting this game. I was intrigued at Lindy's confidence. It kind of makes me want to tail, or maybe even take a Hawks team total under. Kind of makes me want to tail a little bit because I'm not nearly as confident. I don't feel very strongly about this game. I guess just put up Memphis, but I'm not going to bet it. Chris?
Yeah, it'd be Atlanta for me. I know it was at 9.5 and it's come back down. I didn't bet it either. I don't feel confident enough to bet it. But we'll see what happens with the injury report. I look at this game, Kyle, and from the Memphis perspective, they're just not covering. Like, since the All-Star break, 0-5-1 against the number, 2-7-1 against the number in their last 10 games. Defensively, they're bottom 6 defensive rated team. And do you want to lay points with Atlanta, or you want to catch points with Atlanta? Memphis, like I said, they just haven't been covering. I look at when I match the teams up, like both of these teams should be able to get out and score, but I think Atlanta being third in transition frequency and Memphis being bottom 5 in opponent transition frequency is enough for them to kind of hang around. I don't need them to like win the game. I just need them not to lose by 10. So Memphis also ranks bottom 10 in opponent transition efficiency. So Atlanta should be able to get out and score. Memphis last 5 games, like I said, they got a defensive rating that's north of 119. Atlanta has the rest advantage here. I think it's like 2 days compared to 1, I think, even though they are on the first leg of a back-to-back. So it'd be Atlanta plus the points here for me, Kyle. And they got revenge as well. So I like Atlanta plus the points. I think you can get a +9.
Crispy revenging. Loves those revenge, man. Loves the revenge.
Not all the time, just when the team plays well in that spot.
I will say, be on the lookout for Brandon Clark props. That's a guy that has routinely paid off nicely in some of these spots where Santi Aldama's rolled out. Brandon Clark is a major beneficiary because, they're small ball. It's not like ED can play 30 minutes, especially on a back-to-back.
Ant Money says, Kyle, I was banking on you taking the sorry Sixers to beat tonight. If you're taking Philly, I didn't bet Portland. That's not one of my bets. If you're taking Philly, just know like you got some stones, man, and you are fading the world, which is something that I usually find fun. So best of luck. Let's move on to the next one. What's next? Houston. Oh, okay. You guys want to hear my plan?
Oh God, I have no plan for this game. So go ahead.
Me either.
All right, I found. Okay, all right. So buckle up. Found something I liked. It's not in this game. I like the just chill. I like the matchup for Houston in Indiana tomorrow night. This is what I want in a perfect world. I want Houston to rest a couple pieces tonight. There are a few pieces listed as questionable. I want them to rest a couple pieces tonight. I want them to get smoked. Then tomorrow night on a back-to-back against a Pacers team that looked pretty good in their last one, dominant victory, clean, controlling victory against the Bulls in that second half. No one's going to want to bet the Rockets tomorrow night. I like the matchup for them. I took a good long look at that matchup last night. I think the Rockets can win outright, and no one's going to want to bet them tomorrow night on the back-to-back. So I hope we see the Rockets rest a Şengün or maybe Thompson. There's a couple pieces listed as questionable. I want to see him rest one or two. I would love to get Van Vliet back. I don't think that's going to happen for tomorrow, but I want to see him to rest one or two pieces. I want Oklahoma City to smoke Houston to another planet, and then I'll be on Houston tomorrow night. Might even sprinkle the money line. That's how I'm feeling here, like the matchup. So you can put up Oklahoma City as far as my pick for this game, but really where I'm eyeing up is Houston on the road in Indianapolis tomorrow night.
I think it's very live to happen. I mean, Fred VanVleet could end up coming back tomorrow too. He's already out for today. I mean, you stare at this game longer and you get dumber. I mean, I don't know what to do other than just jam OKC. Like, I had Houston plus 11 as a lean yesterday. Seeing it come down to 10 and just thinking that they're going to somehow play this game straight up doesn't really make sense. Like, why is this coming down to 9.5 now with Chet officially in? Because it was an actual ankle injury, which, ended up just kind of being rest for the most part. But I don't know what to tell you other than there are 5 guys on the NBA injury report. 4 of them are massive contributors: Amin Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Alperen Şengün, Tari Eason. It's OKC right now, and just hoping all that news breaks your way and Kyle's right, or pass.
Someone said, Kyle, you don't even know who's playing in the Rockets-Pacers game tomorrow night, so how could you feel so strongly? Well, I don't know if this is your first time watching NBA. We don't know who's playing in 90% of the games. You wait.
We don't know who's going to play tonight.
Toast was right, and I don't want to admit when Toast was right. Toast was right. You knew the NBA was about to just become a
Don't ever say Toast was right, dude. No, you weight the chances, the odds of these guys playing. You weight them into your handicap. If you think Van Vliet's got a 60% chance of playing, that's weighted into your model. So, based on the patterns we've seen, Houston with how we've seen them handle their rotation so far this year, especially that pieces are questionable tonight against Oklahoma City on the road. A game, let's be honest, they know they're going to get smoked. They rest a couple of those pieces, save them for tomorrow. That's all weighted in. Obviously, there's a chance Houston could sit everybody tomorrow, but you could say there's a chance for that in every single game, every single night. That's not unique to tomorrow against the Pacers. Chris, any thoughts on this one? Or you said you passed, right?
No. I didn't say anything, but I'll be quick. It's team total over for OKC or nothing. I'm not sure why they don't want to play defense anymore, but they are scoring. And I know I don't need to tell you guys, but 133 is what their average is since the All-Star break. Their team total today, I think, is 119.5. And they've hit that number every single game since the All-Star break. They also historically own this Rockets team in OKC. I think they're 5-1 against the spread in the last 6, and they typically score the basketball. So for whatever reason, Houston, not even that they're playing super fast or super efficient, because their offense is kind of falling off a cliff without Fred VanVleet being out there. But that's the way that I would lean. Even on the second leg of a back-to-back, this team is 8-2. I think 9-1 to the over in their last 10 games. I would just look towards their team total to go up and over.
Let's go to the next game. All right, I'm declaring this next game the ultimate who the fuck knows game of the night. Sacramento on the road in Dallas Lane, 2.5. Who honestly knows? Flip a coin. Sacramento's looked all right, I guess. They've played. If you take a look at their recent schedule, they haven't been through the gauntlet. Let's say that. Dallas really let me down on Saturday. I thought Dallas plus 2.5 was a sneaky play against the Bucks. Man, they weren't even in the game the second half. Well, actually, they played them tough in the beginning. I think they were actually leading for most of the first half. They were leading for most of the first half, but second half, they didn't belong in the same court as the Bucks. I really don't even have a lean, so I am all ears here if you guys have anything. Don't everyone jump up at once. Lindy, do you have anything for this one?
No.
Yeah, this game's tough, right? How do you?
It is. It's super tough.
Can we say Jonas Valanciunas is live for 2020? Like legitimate. Like Jonas Valanciunas is live for 2020. Like Barbara Walters 2020. May she rest in peace.
Barbara Walters.
Yeah,
First time Barbara
here,
Walters was referenced on this show. Chris,
without saying you want to bang her.
Chris, this is a pass for you as well.
Yeah, it's a pass for me. As much as I want to take Dallas, Kyle, like without them having a center, and then you got Sabonis now out, PJ Washington out. Like it's just too many bad things happening for Dallas and Sacramento. I got to give them a little credit. Like I did not have them going into Houston, winning that game outright on my bingo card the other day. So if you can beat Houston in Houston, I kind of feel like you could beat Dallas in Dallas. I know Dallas has double in-season revenge and coming off a loss, they play better at home as a dog. But like Moses Brown, like who's stopping somebody at the rim? Like I don't know.
Moses Brown isn't with the team anymore.
Oh, he's not with the team anymore.
Another contract. Yeah, let me double check.
He just played with him. He was on the floor on Saturday.
Yeah, free agent after his 10-day contract with the Mavericks expired.
Yeah, so no way I want anything to do with this one.
Yeah, this is March NBA.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is honestly just as tough. Dude, shout out to the Pistons. Pistons look pretty good. But
They
I mean,
do.
are we really at the point where we're laying close to double digits on the road with the Pistons? Like, do we think they're that good? They are 28th in strength of schedule in their last 10. So we got a couple Pistons fans that are probably going to start chirping in the comments, but we do have to mention they've played some trash recently.
They beat Denver. They lost to Denver. They beat Boston though in that stretch.
They lost to Denver, and Denver was on a back-to-back. They did beat Boston, but Boston was on a back-to-back.
That's true. And they historically don't play well in Utah. I think they've lost like 4 straight in Utah for whatever reason. Did you see the injury report, Kyle?
Yeah.
Utah ruling everybody out all over again.
Everybody out.
They're like, nope, we're not going.
I do like underdog just saying flat out tanking. That made me feel better.
I mean, yeah, me too. That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
This is definitely my worst like night before CLV that I've ever had. It's horrific.
Did you bet Utah?
Yeah, but I got plus 8.5 as well. So like I'm an
that's
absolute
not that bad.
fit.
It's at 9.
I know, but it you say that now, just wait until
wow,
it's ruled out.
No,
and
never
everything goes against me.
It's at 11.
Yay,
it's like 11, right?
Playing basketball today. Woo!
It's at 11.
It's like 11. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 11. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say things have it's gone red in my sheet, which generally means womp 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 womp. Just a bad day.
You could put Jazz up for me too. Maybe now that we're up plus 11, you know what? Put over up. I know like some of these key scorers are out for Utah, right? No Markkanen, no Jordan Clarkson. It's like how is Utah going to score, contribute to this total? But we should see a super fast-paced game in the elevation. Utah, we always see opposing defenses kind of fall off in the second half here out in Utah. Number one, it's never a big game because you're playing the Jazz. Nobody has the Jazz game circled on their calendar. So the second half, you start to fall off. I don't hate this bet. Getting up and over 233. I don't have it placed, but I'm not opposed to it. Chris?
I agree with that, Kyle. I think I agree with that. Detroit running super fast pace. They should be able to score at will. We saw whenever they don't have the big three, the rebounders down there, other teams typically just score at will. And we saw the Pelicans able to score the ball yesterday pretty much at will yesterday. So I guess I agree with that. Maybe even just a Detroit team total up and over. I think it's like 119.5. That's probably the way I would bet this one if I had to bet it. I'm not betting this game though.
Yeah, Shipley's in the comments. He's flexing. He sent this to the group flexing it. He bet a Pistons to win the NBA Finals ticket, like it was a flex. Like, dude. All right, let's talk some college basketball. Lindy, where can they find your stuff if they don't know where you are?
Maybe he just thinks that when people say the word flex, they mean donation, and that you're being a good person. That's good. Anyway, I'm Eric Lindquist. You can follow me, Lindy, over at Odd Shopper on the YouTube channel, and then Stochastic on the DFS side of things. I am counting the days down till MLB. I know that you are too, my friends. So excited to see Toast in those streets. But you know what? We got another month or so here. I'm going to be kicking it here with Chris because he is a good, lovely soul there. And let's see. Lakers looking pretty good so far. So you got to be feeling encouraged so far. Luka not even shooting the ball well and things are going well for Los Angeles. I guess Jackson Hayes always had that dog in him. Here we go. But let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. Good luck, everybody. And if you want to get some reverse CLV, follow me on Twitter at Eric Lindquist.
Crispy, cap it with 2 N's every morning, 7:30 a.m. Most of you know where to find him already. Guys, enjoy your evening. See you later. All right, let's bring Toast on.
Appreciate you, Kyle. Best of luck tonight, Lindy.
You too, buddy.
My dog, I'll play. We play.
Yeah.
We play the Pelicans tomorrow, Toast.
I'll play it. You know what's gonna
We
happen.
play the Pelicans
You know what's
tomorrow,
gonna
yeah.
happen, Toast.
It'll lose.
Go, Beaver. They were waiting for you to flip it. All right.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, Toast was talking. They couldn't hear him. So anyway, let's talk some college basketball. Someone said Lindy Lohan in the comments.
That made my wife laugh.
Wake Forest, Duke. Have you learned your lesson?
I did, because I passed because I really wanted to bet Wake. So yes, I did learn from my mistakes with Florida State on Saturday. Still had a decent Saturday, so I can't really complain. Still feel like that was the right side, but whatever. I do lean Wake Forest here. As we saw the last game, I know that Cooper Flagg is fine and whatnot. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to play. Again, he's not hurt. He's fine. But he only played 19 minutes last game. Obviously, that was because he came out a little bit. I just don't know if he's going to continue to play those 30, 35 minutes, most likely. I would assume he plays anywhere from 20 to 25 or 20 to 25 minutes here. I think that you have a desperate spot in Wake after losing to Virginia and NC State. But again, I just don't trust this Wake team on the road. I think it's just really hard to get there. I do think it's way too many points in a conference game that means absolutely nothing to Duke. And it means everything to Wake. I mean, if Wake were just to play this, if Duke just competitively, that would look really good for the committee and as far as them playing in the tournament in March. So I lean Wake, but there's not a chance in hell I bet it because I did learn my lesson on Saturday.
If we've learned one thing, it's that there's no such thing as flat spots with Duke. They're trying to beat the life out of every single team they see.
I will give you that.
And I hate Wake too, but I will admit, okay, I think Wake sucks, but I think they suck in comparison to where the market values them. I put them above the likes of teams that Duke's laying 22 and a half. Like Wake's better than Florida State. Wake's better than Cal. So I'm not betting this game because I won't settle for the Duke. Duke's got me thinking that they could beat an NBA team right now. Like I know they can. I'm just saying that.
Right. No. And I'm this is why it's so intriguing when we go into March, because again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Duke. They win every game by freaking 20 points, but they do play in the ACC, which is one of, if not the weakest power conference we have. So it's just going to be really fun to see them in a tournament like March. That's all I want to say.
How many Atlantic 10 teams would be in contention in the ACC? Obviously not on Duke's level, but after Duke, is there any Atlantic 10 teams that could play with like the likes of Clemson and some of those upper tier ACC?
I don't know.
Would Clemson and Louisville both be the best team in the A10?
Yeah, I would. I mean, because really, the only reason, I would think so.
All right.
I would think so. Just because, again, you're asking. Yeah, that's a hard one, but yeah, probably.
Next, Queens versus Florida Gulf Coast. This is the Atlantic Sun tournament. Am I wrong?
Correct. 100% correct.
Atlantic Sun tournament.
First round for the.
You like the dog here? I saw you sprinkle the money line.
Yeah, I did. I played Queens at 5.5. I played a little bit juiced at -120, +5 or 4.5 is still fine for me. I honestly just feel like these teams are both just very evenly matched. If you look at them on the season so far in conference play, they're really close to each other. Florida Gulf Coast is 13-5. Queens is 11-7. They've played each other twice this year. One time Florida Gulf Coast won, one time Queens won. I just feel like these teams are very, very similar. I will give you the fact that Florida Gulf I think that we're getting such a high number because Florida Gulf Coast has been playing much better. They've won, I think, four or five games in a row. But at the same time, none of those teams besides Jacksonville, which was a really good win for them, which was on February 18th, none of those teams are as good as Queens. And Queens just kind of has some fight in them. They don't lose back-to-back games. I know they haven't looked great, but they just lost a close game to North Alabama, and I feel like North Alabama is significantly better than Florida Gulf Coast. So getting multiple possessions here in a game that I think that's more or less kind of like a coin flip, I'll definitely take my chances here with the dog.
Man, I don't know shit about these teams.
Queens has treated me so well this year. That's part of the reason why I wanted them. I think that they've slumped a little bit at the end of the season, but I do think they're a pretty good team.
You were like, this is why we're getting such a big number. Like, such a big number. It's 4.5. It's not that big.
Because I think this game should be closer to a pick. I mean, honestly, on a neutral floor, I honestly feel like these teams are extremely, extremely similar. And we've seen the last 3 times that they've played, it was 5.5, 3, 3.5, 3.5, 2. Obviously, that goes back a couple of years, so it doesn't really do much. My point being is that I just feel like when I got it at 5.5, even at 4.5, I felt like this number should be at least 2.5. It should have been a possession in my mind.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Eastern Kentucky against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think I did play Eastern Kentucky on the money line and plus 2.5. I feel like it's like a public dog, though, now that I've sat around for the last 45 minutes and perused on Twitter and whatnot. But again, this is an ASUN team or an ASUN game, another one of those. But I just don't really know I don't really know how good Jacksonville is. So again, they started out the year really, really well. I think they won the first 7 or 8 conference games. I think they lost their first one, and then they rattle off like 7 or 8 in a row. But since then, they've been just really streaky. And they just beat up on a really bad Stetson team and a pretty decent Eastern Carolina team. But both those games at home, and I get that this game's at home as well, but I do think it's a little bit different being in a tournament setting. And Eastern Kentucky is one of those teams that was really, really bad at the beginning of the year and has really turned it on at the end of the year. They lost to Jacksonville as well. Jacksonville's obviously one of the better teams in this conference. But besides a Bellarmine loss, which is both of those games were on the road, they've won like 8 of their last 10 games. So I just think that this team's playing much better than Jacksonville is right now. I think Jacksonville's getting a lot of love for what they did earlier in the season. So I just thought that these two teams were very even. And I actually thought, like I said, I thought Eastern Kentucky was playing better and is the better team. And I'm getting points at a plus price. So yeah, that's what I did.
Put up the Dolphins.
Seems a little public, though. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Put up the Dolphins for me. Trevor picked the Dolphins to win the to win the conference. So yeah, give me the Dolphins. I might bet this one. Down to bet some March Madness. No, I don't know shit about the teams, but next game.
Jacksonville's, they're pretty good.
All right. What we got? Austin Peay, Northern Alabama. Interesting.
Another ASUN game. Just don't understand. I just don't see like this how it should be this many points. Again, there's no question that Austin Peay or North Alabama is the better team, but I think that we're getting such a huge number on this because Austin Peay played yesterday. They beat my They beat my boys from North Florida in an absolute rout. And we've seen this going back years when these teams can get hot in a tournament. And I think that that's possible here, not to mention the fact that the last 5 times they've played, this number has only been this high once or twice. So I think that we're getting this because North Alabama is the much better team. There's no question about that. And they've played really hot, but now they're going to be playing an Austin Peay team that I think can match up kind of well with them. And they've already played here. I just think this is a really, really good spot for Austin Peay getting over 11.5 points. So do I think that North Alabama probably wins the game? Yeah. But at the same time, they're really not winning by huge margins at that point. So, and now you're having in a conference tournament game. Like I said, I just thought it was a little bit too many points for me. And neither one of these teams plays super fast pace. So we shouldn't see a whole bunch of possessions either.
Grabenz is in the comments flexing an Austin Peay moneyline ticket from last night.
Dude, I don't hate it, man. They looked really good last night.
He said he had the.
Okay.
Put up Austin Peay. I don't freaking know, man. Can we get to the good tournaments? What is this? This is March Sadness.
That's why I took my vacation right now.
Austin Peay. Trevor, what's Trevor on?
I'm I'm not sure.
I'd like to see. Trevor wrote a whole paragraph, didn't even put a pick in there.
Jesus, Trevor.
Next, yo.
I would be surprised if he laid it with Alabama. He's not really a big favorite type of guy, but we're curious.
All right, Kansas.
Oh my God, dude.
Houston.
Here we go. I want to do it.
What do you
I
mean
want to
by
do it so bad.
By,
you
what do
know
mean?
what?
I want to go. I want to do it too, but I think we're talking about different its.
Are you talking about Houston or Kansas?
Houston.
Because I want to bet Kansas because nobody wants to bet
I think
Kansas.
everyone wants to bet Kansas. Houston hasn't won a game by double digits in
Really?
forever. Cincinnati was a public dog against Houston. Houston's won like one game by double digits in the last month. They don't win by this much. I think everyone wants to buy Kansas.
No, they beat Ohio
Let's put a
State
poll
by
up. I think everyone's going to click Kansas.
Yeah,
here.
let's put the poll up. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm actually very curious to hear on this one. I didn't bet this game. I was actually kind of waiting to see if you had a lean in this one. I know that you're busy and whatnot, just because maybe you're right. I feel like everybody was already out on Kansas, and now they lost another road
but everyone
game.
came back to Kansas quickly. Remember, that's why I took.
I know, but then they lost at home to Texas Tech, and now they got to play Houston.
Dude, if people, these people that have been betting Houston have been losing nonstop. I think they're out on laying big numbers with Houston.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, this is a hard one for me. I lean Kansas here. I think that one thing that Kansas has shown us so far this year is that they're definitely not nearly. They've been almost worse at home. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, I know that they've been bad, but I mean, they've been absolutely, like just almost awful at home. So I was just looking to see what the line was at their last game, which is what it ended on. It was Houston +1. So that's just kind of my point. The last time these two teams played in Kansas, this line was +1, and now we're getting 9.5. Like that's just where I'm at. Like that is a huge overreaction. So I'm sorry, not an overreaction. This is a huge move in general. So I don't really know what to think. I agree with you that I don't really want to lay the points with Houston. I think that Trevor in his first half team total unders with Houston or all those systems that he plays with Houston is much better than laying the points with Houston. But I'm curious, what is the poll at right now?
It's like dead split, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. I honestly, and people are going to roast me, which they do anyway, but I think that Kansas is live in this game. I truly do. I know there's nothing that I'm going to be able to go out and say, oh, look at how they played this really good team on the road and whatnot. But I just don't know how often you're going to get an absolute fantastic game out of Houston. I just feel like sooner or later they're going to lose one. They've only lost one game so far in conference play, and that was overtime to Texas Tech, and that game was at home as well. So they have lost a game at home so far. I do think it's a coin flip. My body tells me Kansas. My mind tells me Kansas. My heart tells me probably Houston. So you can put
How
up
many
Kansas
body
for me,
parts are you
Beaver.
handicapping the game with,
Yeah,
dude?
wow, this is a pretty intense cap.
And he bounced
Wow,
after
and then
that.
he bounces. That's
Just telling you, man.
He's back.
It's just hard. Bill Self has got me in a pickle. I don't know what to do. I mean, this is the most experienced team in the country with the best team in the country. It's just really hard for me to believe that they're this bad. I mean, clearly they are, but it's got me it's got me all twisted up inside.
What does your pickle have to say about this game?
Shoot. He's just pickled up. He's shriveled.
Okay.
Can't even talk.
Alrighty, on to the next game here. I see now that I believe Kyle has dropped out.
No, I left because I couldn't hear Toast. I'm back, though, and I can hear him now. But yeah, Toast is like, my kneecap likes Kansas.
My Achilles.
What the hell kind of shit is that? It's like, my body likes Kansas. My heart likes Kansas.
Everything in my body tells me to bet Kansas, but in my mind, it tells me don't do it. Don't get caught up again.
Everything in your body? What are you talking about? What does that even mean?
This guy's a freak.
Yo.
All right, UCLA Northwestern. Someone was looking for a fake sharp play of the day. Look no further than Northwestern. UCLA coming off an ugly. Wait, what was that ugly UCLA game last one? Pretty sure I just faded UCLA.
They lost by 10 in Mackey. I wouldn't consider that ugly. They
were catching 5.5.
I laid
so
4.5. I think I laid 4.5 with Purdue.
Yeah, I like Purdue also in that one. So
yeah,
Northwestern looks all right though. This is like I think this is UCLA -3.5.
Yeah, UCLA is my biggest bet of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was gonna say Northwestern is the fake sharp play of the day.
Oh, I like to hear that. I want to this isn't like me fading like Northwestern. I are in trying to make a case that they're not as good as how they've been playing. They've been playing awesome. Again, I just don't know how many times they're going to be able to get up and play the way they've been playing. And you have a UCLA team that's kind of coming in here pissed off, hasn't lost back-to-back games in over a month and a half. And honestly, I don't even think they played that bad against Purdue. That first half was pretty close. I mean, it wasn't anything terrible. They came out, played them pretty even through the second half. And then as the last 10 minutes of the game or so went on, Purdue kind of pulled away. But again, it's much hard. I think it's a significantly harder to play against on the road in Purdue than to play on the road in Northwestern. Not to mention the fact that we didn't like UCLA because of the travel spot. You don't have to worry about that now. That's nearly not the same. They've been over in the Midwest or whatever you want to call it for a few days now, multiple days now. And again, Northwestern hasn't played a team like UCLA that's going to be able to force the issue defensively. I mean, UCLA is one of the better teams in the country defensively. And now I understand that Northwestern has looked really good, but I think it's going to be really hard for them because, again, you have Northwestern that what are they going to do? I mean, like, I know that the KJ Wyndham kid has been doing really well for them and Ty Berry's been all right, but I mean, you really have to slow down Martinelli. And as long as you slow him down, everything's going to be fine. And I really think that UCLA is going to have a plan to slow him down. So, I think that UCLA is a lot better than people give them credit for. I think they looked bad for a while. Not to mention the fact that UCLA has the size to match up with Northwestern's rebounding ability. The one thing that Northwestern has done really, really well so far is not turn the ball over in conference play. Well, unfortunately for them, they're going to be facing a UCLA defense. That's the number one of the best teams in the country and by far the number one team in the conference in forcing turnovers. So they've been playing. And my other point on the Northwestern offense that what they're seeing, UCLA top 20, most likely a top 15 defense in the country. I don't think there's any question about that. The last few teams that they've seen as far as Northwestern defensively, Iowa 168, Minnesota 87, Ohio State 44, which is lucky to be that high, Nebraska 33, Oregon 40, Washington 107, USC 109. My point being, this is a significant step up in class here. And all the reasons that I didn't like UCLA, I kind of liked against Purdue. I really liked them against Northwestern. So I laid the 3.5. I missed the 2.5 last night. I honestly think that UCLA might win by double digits here tonight.
It seems like, wow, I got an echo. There we go, fixed it. This line's just sitting there at 3.5, flickering back between 3 and 3.5. And shocker, Trevor Vandenbosch is on Northwestern. Of course, king of the fake sharps himself is on the fake sharp play of the day at Northwestern. We'll be back at midnight to talk about it for the midnight stream where I can laugh in Trevor's face when UCLA covers this number. No, in all seriousness, though, we will be back at midnight. We'll talk about Tuesday's stuff. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you're wanting to get in on the betting league this week, you have 2 hours and 8 minutes to submit. New week starts now, so everyone starts at 0. So if you're getting in on the betting league this week, you got 2 hours and 8 minutes to submit. Congrats to We Love Drugs winning the league.
Let's go.
I swear, We Love Drugs won the league last week. So shout out to We Love Drugs for winning. And yeah,